Jimmy, what is it?
How did Mom die?
What?
How did my mother die, Dad?
Jimmy, I told you before, she died of a liver disease.
I want the truth.
Hello, welcome to another episode of New Old Films, and I'm really, really happy today because we've got a special guest, a young gentleman from Leominster who years ago decided to bite off a huge piece of a project and make his own independent film. And I had a small role in this production as an actor in it, but he did it right, and it was really a pleasure back in the day to work on it. I'm here today with Joseph Siciliano. Joe, been a while.
It has been fantastic.
Yeah,
This is good. When you reached out to me and you said, let's do this. It's been a while, and I'm like, I was just so excited to, to get together and just revisit.
Yep. And the reason I got in touch with you is because we're at Leominster Access Television. You're a local guy. A lot of people from Leominster were involved with this. You actually had some people from California too. But it's been 26 years, and I don't think a lot of people even had a chance to see this. So we were hoping that we would be able to show it on Leominster Access and talk to you about it.
It was just an idea, and it just kind of, I was in, Los Angeles and, for a few years, and then it just kind of came together, and, the starting, writing the screenplay, and then just coming back and then putting it all together, and
we never had the backstory.
Yeah.
And the backstory is interesting because you went to school where?
I went to Emerson College, and right after graduating, me and a couple friends moved out to California, and I worked on a lot of independent films, during those 4 years. So I got a little knowledge of how everything's kind of like my film school.
Yeah.
And then one of my roommates wrote screenplays. I'm like, what do you got there? And he had me read them, and and I'm like, oh, okay. And eventually I'm like started formulating an idea, and it just kind of came, just let it marinate a little bit, and I'd go back to it and write a little bit, and then pretty soon I had a full screenplay. And then after 4 years, I ended up moving back to Leominster.
From the way that this thing developed and the whole process of the movie making, you must have learned a lot out there because, again, you did it right. How did you go about finding crew? I mean, I know you had some people from California, but like a production manager, how did you go about finding people like that when you got back to Massachusetts?
Yeah, I mean, that's the great thing. When I was out there making films, I was working on films with, various crews. And I remember when I, started to, put together the film, I thought of, the cinematographer that I had worked with, Brett.
Yeah.
And, he had his own crew. And I just called him up and I said, Brett, what are the odds of you coming out here and helping me out with this and filming this low-budget film? He's like, sure, I'd love to. And he's like, I can get, Marcel and Roberto, and, I can put my crew together. And that's how I, basically got these guys out there, my whole film crew. And then through the Steve Bennett.
Remember Steve?
Yep, Steve. He was my, producer, and he helped me cast. And he also, had, access to, different departments around who did what, like, production managers. Yeah. And I ended up finding, Karen, and then she ended up, knowing people. So in the script, Lisa, and just putting together the crews through that. Yeah. And then casting was through, through the Friend Street Film Center at the time.
Okay, that was Steve Bennett.
That was Steve Bennett,
point.
Right. So it was a little bit of both,
Yeah. Now, Steve was involved a lot. I remember meeting him. He was doing a film called Kiss My Assassin.
Okay.
And it was kind of bizarre, and he was one of the first. He was a pioneer with digital filmmaking.
Right.
And he wrote Kiss My Assassin. He starred in Kiss My Assassin, and he basically was the assassin to kiss. Blah blah blah.
Right.
Anyway, I had a small role in that. But one of the cool things about that, I go back in my mind thinking about the people involved, and a guy by the name of Billy Smith was just starting out in acting, and he was part of that project. He had a role in it. And since then, Billy Smith, if you look him up on Internet Movie Database, he was actually in The Departed. He's been in a lot of Scorsese films. He's done major roles too. Acted with Robert De Niro, and I can remember him asking me pointers of how to start in this business, and all I said is just learn by doing. That's all I said. Now I can't even get in touch with the guy. He won't talk to me. I mean, that's he's out there. But yeah, Steve Bennett. And how did you meet Steve Bennett?
I was looking around, just for somebody to, have access to like some of the casting and some of the different crew members and just what I needed. And I just ended up, going out to see him. He's like, well, why don't you come by, take a look at the place. He had a loft near the Boston Garden at the time.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, he had that loft and he had everything there. And, because like I said, he was making his films too. And then he's like, I can set you up here. We can get, casting and all this. And I'm like, this is great. So, that was a big help.
And his wife was involved
Heidi.
Also. Heidi.
Yeah, Heidi. And also, he cast her. I think she was in, some of the films he did. Yeah. It was like a little, family kind of
Friend
thing.
Street.
French.
Films.
There you go.
Yeah. And I don't know whatever happened to that.
Yeah, boy.
I don't know what. A lot of things, those people, they're tough to find now. I mean.
Yeah, it's been so long.
Yeah, we tried to find a few of the people involved with this.
Right.
And I was able to locate Karen Stark.
Yeah.
And I think her name was Brandy Blinn.
Yeah, Brandy. She was in wardrobe.
She was involved in, but she did act.
She was in the film.
She was spectacular.
Yeah, unbelievable. She played
She played a great role.
Yeah.
Throwing the drink.
I know.
In your father's
that's classic.
face.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. No, and she was a natural.
So Steve Bennett helped you get started and connected you also with production people. There was what was Sam Hill?
Sam Hill. In fact, what's funny? He was from California too.
Really?
But I didn't fly him in. He flew in on his own. But we ended up picking him up at the airport. Sam. But he was the first AD, and and then the sound. We just got all the crew together and cast it, and then
Let's talk about some of the local people. This is a story set in a town, could be Leominster.
Yeah.
Maybe it is Leominster, where a father has a secret that he's holding from his son. And the father runs a pizza place. Yeah. And you happen to set your pizza place where?
Is at Paul's Pizza.
Yep.
And, I remember going in there and, I was scouting, pizza places and what would be, scenic to the film and add some, production value kind of thing. And it was like a perfect, the windows and just, it was a perfect place. And he ended up, we closed it down for a while, and then we shot there, and he was just wonderful.
And what did you call Paul's Pizza?
Sagoose's Pizza. So,
hey, was the Pepino Burger sign still on the wall?
Oh, remember? I'm sure that ad is again. I mean that was before that. It was Mancini's. Yeah. So I mean, it just has a history, and then it was great to. That was the main. I needed a good because that revolves around. The pizza place.
Now, who were some of the locals? You had locals in a lot of the scenes, like the pizza scene. Do you remember any of the names?
Us, yeah. We had we shot at the El Camino. Mm-hmm. We shot at Tyke's. Yeah. We shot at Barrett Park, Carter Park. Mm-hmm. So it was all around, really all around. And then we used my father's house, the house for the main house, and then some relatives as well. We shot there. So. Basically, everything was done in Leominster except that famous track scene at Suffolk Downs. Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that. How did you go about arranging to be able to shoot at Suffolk Downs? Yeah, well, you ended up, obviously, Frank, we ended up using his, vehicle, and then we told him, oh, we got a scene, at a racetrack. He's like, oh, let me see if I can make a call and see if you can shoot, Suffolk Downs. So we ended up shooting there. Yeah. So we got lucky enough to be, and they even closed off a section for us. Yep. I remember they closed off a section. Yeah. And we actually had to act Charlie Broderick, another Boston actor. Yeah. Wish I could find him. He was really good. He was a great actor. But we got to. It was pretty much an improvised scene. It was all and we waited till there was a race.
Yeah.
And then we had lines, not so much to memorize and deliver, but it was pretty much a synopsis of what we were going to do.
Right.
And when the race started, we were to react to it, and the cameras were pretty much just free flowing with what we did.
Yeah.
And Charlie played great.
Just the emotion. Yeah.
But the beauty of it was, I remember, I was a horse player from way back. It's in my bloodline.
That was perfect. That was good casting right there.
It was in
right?
my bloodline.
Good casting.
But I remember studying the form before the race, and I was like, I think I can, I like this. So I bet the race.
Yeah.
And the race started.
Yeah.
And my role was I got a winner, come on. And the horse that I bet on actually won the race. So it was coming down the stretch, and it was like, come on, I got
It
I got
wasn't
20
acting,
bucks
it was
on this
actually-
horse. Come on. Then Charlie and I burst into we won.
That was one
great.
of the. It was just such a It was like I said, so energy, naturalism. It was just you guys. It was because you won.
Caught the winner.
Yeah, you
and then
caught the
everybody was asking me, advice for the next couple of races. I got lucky.
I got lucky during this, during this
lucky.
one. So that was like, not even acting. It was just, you were the winner, but it came through so nice. Yeah.
But you had a lot of local people that were actors in this. That a lot of them weren't even actors.
Like
that
family
filled
members,
in.
kind of thing.
You want to talk a little bit about them?
Yeah. We had, my father, played
Right.
we had Archie Carboni's wife. She was the Italian waitress at the Il Camino, and then had my uncle had a little cameo in there, and so we had a lot of
Some of the kids. Who were the kids?
And there was Matt and Mandy.
Okay.
My cousin's kids. They played the two in the dream sequence.
Right.
Yep. And that was filmed at my uncle's and my aunt's house. That scene there in the backyard.
Now, where are they today? They were probably maybe 8 years old back then.
Yeah.
So you add
that's
26.
in their 30s now.
Mid-30s now.
Yeah. Mandy, has a couple kids, and then Matt. They're all like if you see him then you see him like it's been a long.
And we can't forget the other local guy.
Oh,
involved there,
yeah.
Barry Lou.
Barry Lou was
Barry Lou?
Yeah, and then that was because here's the thing with Barry Lou. I ended up going up to up to the high school,
Right.
And I'm like, maybe I can get some crew, some people, extras, or whatever it was, just to see what I could get up there with the with the theatrical department. And I'm like, Barry, there's a role as well. I mean, would you be interested? He's like, yeah, let me take a look, and he ended up playing a good
mean
role.
bastard.
Mean bastard.
He was a
and he's
mean-
such a great guy, and yet he played this mean bastard, and it was like, wow, yeah. No, just in the way we shot him,
He was all in shadows like we are right now.
yeah, right. In the shadows, just make it dramatic, very dramatic.
I want to talk a little bit about like what we went through with the restoration.
Yeah.
Again, we wanted to feature your film on Leominster Access and do a little interview, sort of like what we're doing now.
Yeah.
So you presented us with a DVD copy that you had. I mean, here's the cover of the DVD. And we played it, and the quality just was like, this is 26 years ago.
Yeah.
And I wonder, can we get better? And again, being involved with the film restoration here, took a shot that you still had the film, which is right here.
Yeah, the actual film.
And we did a high definition transfer of the film. Yeah. And I said, this is going to be great. This is going to be simple. So we took the audio, which was beautiful, from the DVD. Yeah. And we figured we'd just lay it in a timeline on an editing machine. It'll all match up perfectly.
Yeah.
Not even close.
Yeah, I can believe it.
And Alan Redstone, who's audio guru here, I mean, he's like the best there is, spent hours and hours and hours banging his head, trying this method, trying that method, speeding things up, doing different frame rates, and we couldn't get the thing to match. I think we went a couple weeks of just trying to
Right, you
sync
were
the
saying,
thing up. And we
yeah.
were getting ready to give up on it and say,
Yeah.
let's just send this out to a lab and tell Joe we did it.
Yeah,
But it was too much money.
You're like, we'll put some more work into it.
So I made a call to Texas, to the company that, designed video transfer or film transfer machines. And our transfer machines are old.
Yeah.
They're like I think it's the second generation of what he made. I mean, he's got some things now that are like, they're doing 8K transfers.
Oh, just
but he gave me a process of, we did the transfer, so we had the original raw files, but how to export the raw files. And we were exporting them wrong.
Right.
You had the choice of exporting them at 17 frames a second or a 1-to-1.
Okay.
And we were using 17 frames per second because we figured with the frames per second,
Yeah.
we could do mathematics to make it happen.
Figured
Didn't work. So do it 1-to-1.
Yeah.
And he gave us a step-by-step process to do
Yeah.
it. And he said, you may lose a little bit of sync over 10 minutes, and you'll have to just find a spot to resync.
Sweet. And that
It
ended up.
took us, and we did it, and
Yeah.
bing, bang, boom.
Yeah.
Then Alan worked his magic again. We had some grain on the film,
Yeah.
and he found a software program that would clean up the grain.
Wow.
And we did a little bit of color correction, and
Yeah.
lo and behold, we've got the new restored digital
That's-
version of A Question of Trust.
And that's what the whole, I mean, got me like, oh my God, it's just to see, what you showed me, just wow, what a difference. Because, I think the original was, that DVD copy was probably off of, the VHS, and I'm like, I didn't realize how, how just murky, out of focus.
Every generation.
It just kind of, and I had the real, the film, which
Right.
perfect, but, not so much when you, got it to the DVD,
when,
but then.
when we were dealing with analog film to, I believe you said beta,
Yeah.
and the beta went to a VHS, and then the VHS went to the DVD.
There you go, because it went from the film to that beta to the, to the VHS
Right.
to the DVD. So yeah,
And it
got
degrades
lost.
every step along
Yeah.
the line.
To make a VHS onto a DVD, I just lost so much.
Yeah.
But that you guys taking it,
I think we got it.
on,
I think we got it good enough where people are going to be able to appreciate this thing again.
you almost want to see the before and after. I mean, that's how good.
We'll do a little
Yeah.
comparisons too. We can compare.
Yeah.
The before with the after, and we'll put some images and maybe
Yeah.
some video clips up on the screen.
Oh, that would be.
Matter of fact, we're definitely going to do.
Oh,
it.
absolutely. They really, that's it's,
Now let's go back to the production. Do you have any in your mind events that stick out that are like the most memorable? You mentioned Suffolk Downs, but are there any other things that happened, happy accidents, things that happened that you had to oh my God, we almost burnt the place down, or anything else? Anything you want to share with us about memorable moments in the production of this?
Well, probably the highlight was that card game scene. That was a great scene just to to get together and to use Frank in there and just kind of took over the scene, and that was just a memorable scene.
Nobody fucks with San Frutano. Here's your 100, and I raise you 100.
Tony, take it easy.
Frankie, Zita, please. Please.
All right, I call that 100.
Four Johnnies. Four Kings.
Oh, yes!
Thank you. All right. This guy. Vegas, Atlantic City. Vegas. I should have gone to the casino.
I gotta take a piss.
Some of the behind the scenes type of thing. I remember we had put some tree at the house. We shot it in October. The foliage, but we just wanted to really enhance it a little bit more in that back. So we literally, some of the crew members were bringing in trees with colored leaves, and we basically put them up by the deck.
So that was the scene, the breakfast scene.
The breakfast
right?
scene, exactly.
Which was, it looks beautiful.
Yeah, beautiful. And that was all them, okay, we could use, so really there's no tree there. They stuck it, and then, the beginning of the film, before they get into Sagus's Pizza,
Yeah.
there was another tree. You're coming in the fall, and that was never there. So
Okay.
little thing where we had to basically stock trees just to put in place, to show. The New England. That's why I shot it in October. Just obviously, you talk about the fall foliage.
Now, there was another bar, and I can't place where it was, but it had the pool tables.
Yes, that
Where
was
was that?
Donato's.
Hey, Jimmy! How are you? Good, Scratch. We're doing good, huh? I saved the table for you. It's a good thing. Looks like it's gonna be a busy
Right,
night.
the pool table scene there, and yeah. So that was. Oh, that's right. That's another local.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we had the loading dock with a.
Yeah, that was at on Central Street, where I think there's like a coffee shop there now. There was a
Okay.
pizza place.
Yeah.
There was a long time, but it was in the back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I forget that they had a name for it.
And that
but-
again looks like any city USA.
Yeah, that was a really good. Yeah, that was, and with the smoke machine. So yeah, it really looked like you didn't know where that was.
We've got some
you know?
pictures in the album that you brought. All the.
Yeah, there was so many.
The production photographs, and there's one of like I said, the fog machine, working with the fog machine. And
Yeah.
who was the basic? I don't know if you had more than one, but who was the basic production photographer on this deal?
That was, we had a couple.
Okay.
We had, some of the photos were Peter Lanza. He was
Okay,
taking some,
right, yeah.
Peter. And we had another photographer as well. And I think we had gotten him, I forget who knew him, but he kind of came on and kind of donated, and he, his time, and he took, a lot of the great photos and set photos. So between both of them, we had, you saw the album. I have so many, behind the scenes, stills of us shooting and just
And again, one of the highlights of a production is the rap party.
Yeah. Oh, that was I don't think we went
I
to
want to
Bennett.
talk a little bit about the rap party. We've got some pictures in the photo album of the rap
And,
party. And I
yeah.
know a lot of people had a lot of fun.
Oh, it was at Long Hill Drive,
Yeah.
where we shot, where the main house was, where Frank and Jimmy lived there, and we just got everybody together, and we just they just had one heck of a rap party there, and like I said, we have the photos to prove it. So it was just fun, just the music and just all laughter and just when it was 3
All
weeks.
good people, too.
Good people, and in fact, the California people were there still, so everybody got to. And then I think they took off right after that. But it was like a 3-week shoot. I think we had.
You had a great local hairstylist.
Yeah, Keith
Cartanos.
Yeah, Keith was great.
He's still around.
Unbelievable, because that's a big. Keith was.
It was beautiful because, I don't know how he did it, but everybody had the big Italian hair, kind of like the Sopranos before the Sopranos.
Yeah, they were. Yeah,
I want to go
right.
see him
It
to
was
see if he can
do the
hair.
That's what
But
he
the
did.
Difference is, it's silver now.
Yeah,
And it used to be
and maybe not as
black.
high. Very little holes in it. though. Yeah,
We had
But
Keith involved, and
he
I remember him. He was great.
He did some special effects makeup too. In that he,
Yes.
made up. And even when one of the scenes, I won't really, say it too much, but there's some, blood in there, and he kind of, he did more than just, hair and makeup. He did also some, special effects.
Now the last scene, 6th Street, okay,
Yeah.
Tykes,
Yeah.
okay. You had a lot of people with the city involved.
Yeah, we were lucky there because my cousin, Detective, Joe Siciliano, and Dennis Surratt at the time too. And I think, just I'm like, well, we need, let's, beef this up a little bit. Can you get some, an ambulance? Can you get, some, squad cars and that kind of a thing? Just made it like a crime scene, and they just put up yellow tape, and they were just so cooperative. And I mean, that made it added such production value as well. How do you Mickey Mouse that kind of thing? But we didn't. We had good connections there.
They blocked off this whole street.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember. I recognized Tommy Beazall, Captain Beazall. Was
Right,
in it.
that's right, yeah.
And for me, one of the highlights was to see the house that I grew up in across the street from Tykes.
That's right.
284 6th Street.
There.
Film is done.
Yeah.
Rap party is done. You've got this footage, and it's off to the lab. Then there was how much of a period of time before?
Yeah, this is good too. Yeah, so we finished, we shot in the fall of '95, and right away we just got right into it. And my editor, Mike Phillips and Tom Ohanian, we're in Waltham, so I'd have to go there, make the trek out, and they'd assemble a working print, and then we'd go in, make changes. But I spent lots of time going to Waltham.
Yep.
So basically, we got what we needed, and then it was off to Color Lab in Rockville, Maryland, and they basically got the final print there. So I remember driving down there, picking it up personally. I didn't even want it shipped. I remember driving down and picking it up, personally. And then after that, it was probably late summer of '96, and then we organized the premiere in fall of '86.
The music is all
96.
original, right?
Yeah, the music. Oh yeah, yeah.
Who did the music?
That was, I think his name was Earl, and then I know if the No Regrets was sung by the actor
Vincent.
by Vincent. Yeah.
And Vincent, young kid, and he was phenomenal.
Yes,
I
he
really
acted
thought
and-
he was great.
Yeah.
And he's since passed away at
Yeah.
a very young age. I, again, tried to track him down, and we found out that, not too long after this film was made, he passed away.
And you don't seem to have any. Now, I don't care how you do it, but I want to see that money in my hand by Sunday. And Johnny, don't fuck up on me again, huh? Or it'll be your last.
So that's one of the sad things.
Yeah, all this talent.
Remember the premiere
Yeah.
at, where was it?
It was over at on the show, the Leominster, the Lowe's right there down in Searstown. In fact, it was at the one, probably the old, the one that only has 2 theaters, the original one before they, so we had it.
I always liked those better.
Yeah, there was a good, we had the choice, like, which one do you want to show it in? And I think it was, that first one there. And that's where we had the premiere. And we had a good, went back to 4 Points, had a little,
Little shindig.
little gathering there with everybody. Just another just to celebrate the premiere, and then after that, that's when the fun began, where I was taking the film, and actually we ended up getting into a couple film festivals, the Northampton Film Festival, the Providence Film Festival. So it got shown a couple places, and then I ended up taking it back to LA, and I had a screening at Universal Studios.
Yeah.
And Mike Favalita was actually ended up making that one. He showed up, and then I had another one at the Directors Guild, for all industry types.
Yeah.
So we showed it around, and then eventually, I found a distributor that James Bond, but not the other James Bond.
Not 007,
No, not 007.
not 007.
James Bond the third.
Okay.
But he was a child actor, and he ended up starting a company called Underground Railroad Company. And he ended up, distributing it. It was on,
It was
for
you were
streaming.
marketing it,
Yeah, it was about 2010.
Now, one time, again, I don't like going east of Concord, Mass. I go into cities and I get nervous. I just don't like cities. I'd rather be sitting in a tree at 3 o'clock in the morning waiting for the sun to come up so I can legally hunt deer.
Right.
And one time I was involved with a film called The Mouse, and they were having not so much a premiere, but a premiere for the people who were in it. And it was at the MGM screening room in New York City. And I went down to New York all alone on a bus. I'm shitting in my pants. I'm so nervous. Excuse my language. Right? Well, this is public access. We can say that.
Yeah, that's a big.
And you just happened to be there, and you were showing your film at, it was some type of a market.
Yeah, it was at, I don't know, what was it? Not the American film market,
But it was,
but
was
it was
it
a
at Tribeca?
Yeah, it was in that area. It was
Right.
in the Tribeca area, and I ended up, showing it there, and that's why I was there.
Yeah.
And then I think you,
And we met up. I think it was by accident.
by accident.
Right?
You were coming, off the train, and yeah.
And I was in that film, The Mouse, and I can remember the casting director. Her name was Sheila Jaffe, and she says, if you're ever in New York, stop by, and I had her address. So we went to the address, and we go into this place, and I says, could I see Sheila Jaffe? And the woman said, I'm sorry, you need an appointment, blah, blah, blah. And I says, well, she told me if I was ever here to, to look her up, and she says, what's your name? And I said, Jack Celli. And all of a sudden I hear from the back room, Jack. And who did we run into?
Oh,
We ran into John Savage.
Yeah, John Savage.
Who was in that film, The Mouse. Yeah. But he remembered me.
I'm committed. I just hope you don't have too many regrets in your old age.
And then I remember when I went out to LA to show the film, I remember having his number. I remember calling him and seeing if he could attend one of the screenings, and I think he was either out of the country, he was doing something, but he thanked, he's like, I'm sorry, and good luck with everything. So he was just a wonderful,
he was a super
unbelievable,
guy.
Great. It's like the bigger the actor, the better the person. It really was that right there.
That was it.
But
after that.
Yeah, but
things happen.
Yeah, well, I mean, look at how many years go. It just life does. We think we have sometimes control everything, but we really were just kind of
same with you.
along.
Get sidetracked.
You do. You get older. You have families. You have whatever you're doing in life, and pretty soon 5 years go by, 10 years, and it's like wow. I mean, and then to come back to this point, and just to have it, it's like a rejuvenation, a rebirth of this film. And my goal was to, in the beginning, not goal, but what I liked was just to get it out there, to get it. You make something, you want it seen, and that's what I tried to do. In fact, I had VHS copies. I'd go door to door. I was selling these things door to door at the time, and it just eventually. Time went by, and you just try to find another audience. How many years later? You're never out of the game.
Never out of the game.
You really aren't with films, because you can see how many great films back in the 40s and 50s and that kind of thing. It's like you rewatch these movies, and that's the whole thing. It's
But I want to thank you, and what we're going to do is we're going to present the film. We're going to watch it.
Great.
And people who haven't had a chance to see it, hopefully will get a chance to see it. Yeah. And here we are.
I know. It was, I thank all of you guys, you, Carl, Alan, just everybody here at, Lemons Television. Just, couldn't have asked for anything better that, when you reached out, and it's like, yes,
it was just like, it's time people see this thing.
And that's, I wanted it back then, and yes, I, got some people to see it, but now, you really, because after that many years, it's nice to, whatever, right, another generation. And then the old generation has another chance to see it. And
I love watching it, because I love to get an opportunity to laugh at myself.
Yeah.
I'm good looking. I was better looking then.
Yeah, no,
But I get a chance to to laugh at some of the things, and I say to myself, there's so many things I would have done different, could have done different.
Absolutely.
But anyway, it is what it is, and
I feel the same way. Some of what we just tried to do with with the time and the resources we had, we just tried to make something that that we could be proud of, and all these people working on this. I mean, in that respect, it's a success. All these great, wonderful people putting their time and effort into making this, and from beginning to end, it has a story, it has a mystery, and that's all. We just wanted to try to get in, get out, entertain, and
But anyway, let's get down to this. Let's show the film, and we'll see what happens next.
Awesome.
Thanks, Joe.
Thank you,
This
Jack.
was fun.
And thanks to everybody. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
I woke up to prove my passion. for the glory I feel for this beautiful nation. If I should fall down before I tell my story, I know that I'll go down with all of the glory, yeah, that I feel for myself. Oh Lord, please bring me help. Miracles, yeah, yeah, yeah. In one of his songs, Blue Eyes said he had